Welcome to the Uplands and Peatlands habitat identification video. This video is part of a larger suite of videos created to help in identifying all the habitat categories within the whole farm plan's biodiversity audit. Within this guidance, we will cover all the specific upland and peatland habitats within the guidance, including peatlands, upland grasslands, heath, and upland mixed habitats. This video will cover the differences between each habitat and how each habitat can vary. Peatlands. Areas mapped as peatlands can include areas of blanket bog as well as lowland areas of raised bog. Blanket bog is often referred to as moorland bog, where waterlogged peat soils of more than 50 cm depth give rise to bog vegetation. The vegetation in these areas will be dominated by sphagnum mosses, varying in colour and size, alongside cotton grasses, cross-leaved heath, and purple moorgrass. These areas will be relatively flat in terrain and often contain extensive bog pools. Lowland raised bogs will contain similar vegetation, will often appear as gently sloping domes of peat, where dead plant matter has accumulated over thousands of years to build peat soils. Again, vegetation within these areas will include sphagnum mosses, cotton grasses, and cross-leaved heath and ling heather. Peatland habitat will differ from wetland habitat due to the abundance of sphagnum mosses and presence of shrubs like ling heather and cross-leaved heath, rather than rushes and tall herbs. Heathland vegetation may appear similar in appearance, especially wet heath. However, heath will have shallower peat depths and less abundance of cross-leaved heath and cotton grasses. Upland grasslands. Areas mapped as upland grassland can include typical rough grazing found largely unenclosed above the hill dike, although can be found as low as sea level in the north and west of Scotland. These grasslands won't have been ploughed or reseeded in recent history, but can include hay meadows and permanent pastures on upland farms which may have had some historic lime or fertiliser application. Species within this habitat may vary depending on the soil type and wetness. However, common indicator species within these habitats can include matgrass, bentgrass, sedges, and some purple moorgrass in wetter areas, while wildflowers can include tormental, heath bedstraw, heath orchids, violets, and milkworts. Heath. Areas mapped as heath should include land dominated by heather species that is not peatland. These can include areas of dry heath, where ling heather will dominate shallower dry soils, alongside blaeberry and bell heather. Wet heath, where shallow peat soils will have ling heather dominated alongside an abundance of grasses such as deergrass and purple moorgrass. Where there is abundance of sphagnum moss alongside other peatland species like cotton grass, map this as peatland. Where heath is growing on land surrounding the coast, map this as coastal heath. Upland mixed habitats. Areas mapped as upland mixed habitats should include land where each of the above habitats are all present in small pockets scattered amongst one another, and as such mapping would prove too time consuming and difficult. This can be used as a starting point, and larger areas of peatland, upland grassland and heath can be built upon this. Any areas of peatland greater than half a hectare should be mapped individually. Thank you for watching the Upland and Peatland habitat identification video, created as a part of a suite of videos to aid in the completion of the whole farm plan's biodiversity audit. Videos are available on all broad habitat types, showing the differences between and within the habitats themselves. Check out the cropland, grassland, wetland, coastal, woodland, and linear and point feature habitat videos on the FAS website.